Hello, or welcome. I'm glad you're such early birds. So we'll be starting at 11. So we have 5 more minutes. So you're all welcome. Welcome to the early birds. We'll be starting shortly. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we just have 4 more minutes. So thank you for joining early.
That's all right. So you're organizing this on behalf of Dalex Finance, is it?
Yes. So I'm just trying to push, more private investment in the tech ecosystem. So I thought it would be great to have Mr. Thompson come, and I see that Mr. Thompson has joined us, and talk about the prize, and have this info session. So
yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I see Mr. Thompson is here. So Mr. Thompson, can you maybe turn on your camera and your microphone? And then we'll just give, because we have like 3 more minutes to start. Okay. Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mr. Thompson. Hello, Vivian. Yes, I can hear you. Will it be possible for you to turn on your camera?
Oh, yes, sure.
Yes, perfect. Oh, great. Great. Welcome, welcome. So people are joining. So we have 2 more minutes to 11. So there are some early birds, which is great.
No problem.
Yes, so we'll just...
I sent you a video by email.
Okay.
And, at some point, I'd like you to play it if you can.
No problem. I'll do that. I'll play the video.
Yeah, no problem. I just wanted to be on early to make sure that everything was working.
Yes, everything is fine. Okay, people are joining. I'm admitting them. So we'll be starting. So I'll play the video, as we go on. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for being early. So we just wait a couple of minutes to 11, then we get started.
Okay. I'm going to go off for about a minute just to change the internet connection.
Okay.
And I'll come back on.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, thank you. Mr. Thompson, are you good? Is it fine? Oh, you are. Okay.
Can you see me?
I can see you. I can hear you. Everything is great. So.
Okay. Did you get the video?
Yes.
The email?
I'm checking now. At the video. Let me check my other email. No, I didn't. Can you send it again?
I'm going to try it by WhatsApp.
Okay, you can send it by WhatsApp. That's fine. Okay, perfect. Okay. So welcome everybody. Mr. Thompson is just sending us a video, then we'll start.
Okay, you can start and when we get it.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so good morning, everybody. You are welcome to today's info session. My name is Regina Hunu, and I'm the CEO of Stronko Academy, which is a coding and human-centered design academy. And if you know me, you know that I have been really championing advancements, innovation in the tech ecosystem for a while now. And based on the work that I do, I meet a lot of young people who have a lot of great ideas, but don't necessarily have the opportunity, the exposure, the support to move from ideation to take their product to the market. So when I met Mr. Thompson, who told me about the OpEx Prize, I was very excited about it because also I think it's very important that we have Ghanaian investment in the tech ecosystem. So I see this as an opportunity to really showcase and herald what happens when we have, great private investors or great individuals who have been there, done it, invest in the tech ecosystem such that we can create innovation for the rest of the world. So you see that the OpEx Prize has this tagline, made for the world. So I'm very excited to welcome today for our info session, the CEO of Dalex Finance, Mr. Kenneth Thompson, who is also the founder of the OpEx Prize. So this is going to be an interactive session. I'm going to ask him some questions, and then I'll open the floor for anybody else who has any questions. Mr. Thompson, you are welcome to today's info session.
Good morning, how are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Fine, thank you.
Okay. So I'm just going to have you first introduce yourself, just tell us just a little bit about who you are, what you do, just a little snippet.
Okay, yes. Okay. So, my name is Kenneth Thompson. But profession-wise, I'm a fellow. I'm a chartered accountant, let's put it like that. And then I'm also the CEO of Dalex Finance. Dalex Finance is what I'll call a digital finance company. In addition to that, over the last 2 years, I've become a thought leader on economic and financial matters. So that's why I'm married. I've got 2 young children, and I'm hoping that one day they'll take over the world. And so that's my ambition. Yes, I believe very strongly that being young is a gift. It's important that you challenge yourself and you push and try and excel because you won't be young forever.
Yeah.
For some young people, when they come together, I say, 20 years from now, what will you do? What will you have done? I've always been passionate about youth development. All my life, I've been passionate about youth development. And I have to admit that when I see how other countries have developed in terms of their youth, I get extremely jealous. I get extremely jealous. So I have to say that I'm a very selfish person because as far as I'm concerned, anything that somebody else has done, any other people, anywhere in the world have done, the Ghanaian should be able to do it. I mean, why not? But everything requires a start. They say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And I'm prepared to start and prepared to do whatever it takes to support Ghanaians to succeed. And I know that even if I don't get where my vision is going to take me, somebody else will be inspired to carry it on. So that's a point.
That's great. That's great. Thank you.
I mean, Dalex Finance itself, we have a nationwide operation. We're all over the country. We have about 3,000 employees. And Dalex was a startup. We started with 0.
Wow.
And we've come a long way. So a lot can be done. A lot can be done. Think big, dream big, believe in yourself, fail fast, fail often, fail cheaply, and just go.
Yeah, those are truly key words of wisdom. So now we're going to get straight into the questions. So we have been telling everybody about the OpEx Prize, and I wanted to ask you first. So what is the OpEx Prize all about?
So first, I'd like to set a certain scene. Estonia, Estonia is a country in Europe, Eastern Europe, with a population of 1.3 million people. It has more unicorns than any per capita than any country in the world. Estonia has more unicorns than any country in the world, and a unicorn is a company which is worth a tech company which is worth over $1 billion, but has not been listed on the stock markets. In addition to that, Estonia has over 100 startups that are worth over $100 billion. So I want people to start to think on that scale. And I've always, Estonia brought up Skype, brought up Paytech. It has TransferWise. It was Bolt. It's got another company now called Zigo that's disrupting the insurance market. Huge companies. So my vision is always to support some Ghanaian young people so that Ghana can become like Estonia. And I know that it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's not going to happen unless you make it happen. So we need to build a certain environment to support our young people to excel. So the OpEx Prize is about supporting that young person to excel. Just support them to excel. And I'd like the young people in the tech space, think big. Just think big. I mean, think big. How did I find out about Estonia? Because I read, think. Have a vision. Conquer the world. Don't limit yourself to scale. Think. But what is happening in Estonia did not happen by chance. They also made a start, and over time they developed an ecosystem to support them. Jenna, you have the video.
Yes.
Let me see what check. See what they can send it by email. See what they can play it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to set the right the discussion within the right context.
Okay. So I'm checking. I'm checking on the video. Yes, I've got the video now.
See what I can play.
Okay.
I'm not so tech. I just copied the link and sent it to you. So
no problem. I'm gonna share my screen, and I think everybody should be able to see the video. Can you all see the video? Mr. Thompson, can you see the video? Okay.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm gonna do full screen and then I'll play the video. Okay. So I think.
There's no volume.
Oh, there's no volume. Sorry. There you go. Can you hear?
Yeah, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. Just let it play.
So, Mr. Thompson, can you hear?
No, I can't hear, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, you can hear?
I can hear.
Okay. So you can see the video, but you can't hear?
Yeah, we can see can't hear.
Okay.
But it's okay. If you can't hear, just play it.
Okay.
Carry on.
Okay. Okay. I'm also going to put the link to the video in the chat so that
please,
others can also. Great. Okay. So so I think that was a good segue into the prize. I'm just quickly putting the video to the chat. Okay. I'll try and play it maybe a little bit later on. Okay, so I put the video in the chat also, so you can click it and watch it. Okay, great. So now we're off to our next question, which is, how long did you have this idea? And how long has it been cooling in the background before you finally put it together, brought the resources and the collaborators?
Okay, I've been thinking about this for over 10 years, actually. I've been thinking about this and I said, I got to do it, I have to do it. Especially when I travel. And I just think, why are Ghanaian people not able to do these things? And maybe, I think where I failed was that I always felt that I needed to cross all the I's and dot the T's before I started. And that's where I don't want the young people to be. You just got to start, whatever it is, start. But then by middle of last year, I thought, look, I've got to do something, as I grow older. One day somebody's going to say, Mr. Thompson, what did you do? Oh, I thought that I would help the young people, become, great men and women. And they say, what did you do about it? Well, I wasn't sure, so I was Mr. Thompson. So it's something I've been thinking about all the time. Think about it all the time. Just 2 weeks ago, I just came back from America, and I just thought this is ridiculous. I mean, we should be able to do it. The mind is the same, but of course, the mind is the same. Everybody's got the same brain. We're just a product of our environment. So it's for me to create an environment which allows people to thrive. And also, why I'm a Ghanaian, I should be able to do it. Why should I wait for MasterCard to do it for me? I can do it. It's not about great, success doesn't come from having money to start it. Success coming from having an idea and timing. So that's what we're working on. But this is something I've been thinking about for a very, very long time.
Okay, so we're excited to see that you started. And I think this is even a great testament to the fact that you have to start, the time is always now. So now, and I'm sure people will be wondering, what are the entry requirements or restrictions for the prize? If now I also want to make a difference and I want to enter into the prize, what are some of the entry requirements?
It's very simple. If you go on the website, www.opexprize.org, it's very, very simple to enter. And people, you can enter within 30 minutes, you're entered, and then you will be selected to, first, what's going to happen is that you enter, we have some reviewers who select 20 people who will then be pitching the idea to a panel, and then out of that 20 will select 10. But all along the way, we will support you, because we do realize that nobody is perfect. Nobody will ever be perfect, and you're learning along the way. So even as part of the process, we have psychologists that will help assess you. We look at what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and support you along the journey. But the application process is very simple. If you go to www.opexprize.org, very, very simple for it.
Okay, sounds great. I have put up the link to the prize in the chat. So anybody who wants to apply, you should quickly do that today. Like Mr. Thompson is saying, it's very simple. So I would encourage all of you to quickly head out, if you haven't already done that, to apply. So now you have this vision, which is to constantly ignite creative and innovative tech solutions that are sustainable and scalable. Can you break it down for us?
Okay, so what I'm saying is that there'll be a lot of ideas, but when you think of an idea, the first question you've got to ask yourself is that, where's the value? So for example, what's a good example? If you take, for example, maybe, I can't think of a good example, I hope you can give me one. But if I take Airbnb, the value is it allows people who have rooms in their houses, in their rooms or small rooms, to be able to rent it out and make some money. That's the value it's creating. And allows that database to be accessed by a lot of people. So first, you have the idea. Secondly, you got to ask yourself, is there any value in it? And third, you say, can I scale it up? Can I make it bigger? You know, if it's an idea which is good, but it's only going to be used by 5 people, it's not worth it. You've got to keep on thinking, how can I make it bigger? How can more people use it? Because the bigger it is, that's when you create more value. And the more value you have is then about being able to make money out of it. Because the bottom line is, you've got to be able to put money in your pocket. But in any case, what research has shown is that it's not the idea itself that makes your project a winning project. It's timing. So for example, the first thing is timing. So for example, at the moment, the president has said that if you don't have a Ghana card, the same thing, Ghana card is going to be used by the GRA, it's going to be used for company registrations. And so what products can you create around the Ghana card? I don't know. What product can you create around insurance? A lot of people are selling on Instagram. They need insurance. What product can you create for them to be able to get insurance? Maybe for the product they are selling for 2 days or 3 weeks. So timing is number 1. The idea is like number 3. As an entrepreneur, you need mental strength. It's very important because you need to execute. Mental strength. They say an entrepreneur is 95%. They say it's 5% passion and 95% hard work. 95% is just waking up at 3 in the morning and sleeping at 12. Passion is 5%. And so once you have those elements, then you have the potential to succeed. But in any case, you should not be afraid to fail. The biggest risk is being afraid to fail. You start, you work on it, it doesn't work, you move on. That's how you should see it. That's how people should see it.
Wow, Mr. Thompson. Please go ahead.
I don't think that one idea will solve your problems. It doesn't work, you move on. Just keep going. And build on other people's ideas. Build on ideas. Build on ideas. This doesn't work, but have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Also work as teams. It's good to work as 1 or 2 or 3 people. Work as a team. Because there's a lot of benefit to working as a team. So those are some of the elements that are required to be successful.
Wow, I'm learning so much, and I think even besides the prize, I'm sure the audience here too are like really taking on these nuggets. Like Mr. Thompson said, it's about timing, 5% passion, 95% hard work, building on ideas, fail fast, fail quickly, so these are all really, really great key points. So now the next question I have is, how is the OpEx Prize different from what is currently offered by other institutions?
Okay. What we're doing now is that we are layering a lot of people that are able to work with entrepreneurs to build their psyche. So right from the judging stage, we have a psychologist. So you may have a good idea, but you may be poor at execution. You may have weaknesses. So the psychologist will help you, maybe get other people to support you at that stage. You may have a good idea, but along the process, there's always you feel you lose your energy. The people that support you. You're going to work with the incubator. People, I don't think even as Ghanaians we are aware of the level of competence we have in the CSR. So when you go into that incubator, there are going to be mentors for everything. So whether you're coding, whether project planning, whether you're timing, whether new research, you're going to have lists of people that you can refer to. So there's going to be a lot of support built around the process. And that's what makes it different. And then also, I'm hoping that as it goes bigger, a lot more corporates will join. But I'm not really worried about other people joining. My focus is giving people opportunity, and they're going to have a lot of support to help them succeed. I've seen incubators where they talk about helping, but it's done on it's done more to tick the boxes than actually providing an environment for them to be able to work. And then when we also go to the CSR, you see that it's a serene environment in the center of Accra, and that all fosters learning. So that's how it's going to be different.
Okay, wow, that sounds great. That sounds great. And I'm sure everybody will be excited to hear that. I really like, how you're also going to work on the psyche and the mindset of these entrepreneurs as they work towards their ideas. And I even like the fact that you have, a hype person or quote unquote somebody, when you lose energy or vim, you will call that person your vim man or vim woman to keep going with your idea. Okay. So now that big question, which everybody wants to know is this free money, or is this an investment that has to be, investor money that has to be accounted for?
It's free money only to the extent that you don't have to account for it. But there will be a process to ensure that you use it for the right thing. So if you are selected, you're not just going to come on Monday morning and give you 10,000. You're going to say, these are the things I want to do. This is how I want to do it. It's okay, this is how much it's going to need, and we'll give you the money. And we'll probably pay directly to the vendors. But we're not going to pay the money directly to your bank account, because experience has shown that it doesn't work. Experience has shown that doesn't work. So, at the very onset, you come up with a project plan, and you sit down with the team to define the project plan. You have your milestones, and they will review every month. So within that project, there are certain things that you want to do, and the money will be available to do those things. That's how it's going to work. But it's not going to be a check that's going to you on day one, and then you decide what you want to do. No, it's not going to be like that.
Okay. So everybody listening, you've heard Mr. Thompson. It's not going to be just you come in and then they give you 10,000 check and then you can do what you want and come back and say stories. Mr. Thompson has said it doesn't work. And really, it's great to have that project plan, that guide. If you are working to really shape your ideas, great to have that support. So like Mr. Thompson is saying, that the money will help you achieve those targets, so that it's not like just given to you and you may take the risk of not spending it the right way. So there'll be a project plan, there'll be a way for you to really understand and break down what you need the money for. And that's where the team from the incubation, the team from OpEx Prize will really make sure that you are using that 10,000 to really solve or create take your idea into the next level. Okay. So Mr. Thompson, thank you for that.
Regina, another thing too is that what I find is that, and I suffered from it as a young person, and it took somebody to tell me, quite later in life, something that I never thought about, and it changed the way I approach certain things. He said, if you don't have humility, you'll never learn. And as young people, sometimes we don't just have the humility. We don't appreciate that other people have experience. They have more experience than you. So you maybe on the basis of information that you have, believe in a certain direction that you're being advised to go. But you've got to trust in the process, because the people that have more experience than you do. For example, you're going to have mentors from Google, from Amazon. What they tell you, they know what they're talking about. In any case, you've got to read, research. So people should come in and have a healthy dose of humility, or they'll never ever learn. If you come in and you think you know it all, you will never ever learn, and that's the sure way to failure. I mean, me personally, every day I learn something new. Estonia, how did I find out about it? I kept learning. To find one which countries are doing well. That's how I found out. So it's important that the people that can have the right mindset, and that's where the psychologist support comes in. That's why the mentorship is important, because there's so many things you don't know. And it's very careful, it's very important that people understand that from the word go. Come in with a lot of humility. come in to learn, read, ask questions, question yourselves, be ambitious, but know that there's always support available for you and come in to learn.
That's great. So Mr. Thompson has said it all, have that humility, come in to learn. Yes, just like he has said, I am also constantly learning. So you really need that spirit of humility and that spirit to learn. So Mr. Thompson, now the next question is, how far can 10,000 cedis as seed capital go? What can one do with 10,000 cedis? Is it enough? Is it too small? How far can 10,000 cedis go?
I know that, I don't know how far 10,000 can go, but I know that if an idea is good enough, and if the person is good enough, 10,000 cedis can go a long way, and there'll be more money available for the person. Some people have called me and said, 10,000 cedis, it's not about the money. The moment any entrepreneur who starts a project and says the money is not enough, it's not the right entrepreneur. If you have a good idea, if you have the right passion, if you have the right mentorship, you can find a way to make that 10,000 cedis $1 million. Yeah, and that's the way you should think. I wouldn't put in the 10,000 cedis, as a limiting factor. It's putting the horse before the cart before the horse. That's the what decides whether you're successful. I can give everybody $1 million and all of them could fail. Yes. I could give $10 million and everybody will fail. So it's a long approach. And then I encourage the young people to go and read about these things. It's there. And I type into Professor Google, do I need money to be successful as a tech entrepreneur? Who will tell you? I mean, no, just go find out. It's not the money, but it's a good question. It's a really good question.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Please go ahead.
There may be projects who may even probably get second round of funding before the 6 months is over. It depends on what it is. If it's good enough, it will fly.
Yes. So Mr. Thompson has said it all. I mean, I can personally attest to it. I didn't have 10,000 when I was starting my business. I wish I had 10,000 when I was starting my business. So it doesn't matter about the money. And like you said, I know some people that got heavy investments in their tech startups and are no longer in existence today. So it doesn't matter if you get 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million. That is not the mindset at all. So 10,000 cedis can really go far depending on you as an individual. And like Mr. Thompson said, this is the first round. If you're able to build upon it, there's an opportunity for round 2. So now the other question, which we also got a lot, is why are you splitting 100,000 between 10 people? Why don't you split maybe 100,000 between 2 or 3 people?
We go back to the same question which you just answered.
Yes.
All the tech startups that got heavy investment and failed.
Yes.
It's not about the money. 10,000 was sounded like a good figure, but I've made it 5,000 for 20 people. But we had to be careful about how many people can we reasonably support properly over a 6-month period, and how much can we spend? Because money, the money is not unlimited, and we came up with 10,000. Maybe it's too much, maybe it's too little. But of course, because this is going to be a permanent project, we will learn as we go along. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. But as we go along, we will learn.
Yeah.
Next time I say, okay, we 20,000. Next time I say it's 5,000. Next time I say the incubation period is three months. Nobody knows. But we're prepared to start. We're prepared to fail. We're prepared to learn from the failings. We're prepared to restart. And that's what's important.
And I totally agree with that. I think you have to start from somewhere. 10 is a good number. 10,000 for 10 is also a great number. It's a good start. And you keep learning, as we go along. Now, you've mentioned a little bit about why you brought the CSI incubator on board. But this question is framed more like, so why was it important to work with CSIR as a government institute?
Okay, so CSIR first, it's a credible institution. Unfortunately, a lot is not known about them. And for those who that will have a chance to work at the CSR, realize that they have a lot of resources, both human and capital. They have some very, very good brains. I met somebody yesterday who is working with NASA on robotics. And I thought, wow, I didn't know that. That's one part. And then they had a purpose-built incubator. Initially, when they built the World Bank, initially I was going to rent a room, kit it out, and make it as an incubator. Then as I started talking to them, I found out that they had an incubator that was funded by the World Bank. I said, so why don't you use it? It doesn't make sense. Because their incubator is much better than anything I could ever have done. In any case, it even has equipment where you can build prototypes, which is key. I could never do that. And then it also has they also have all their doctors and their scientists in one place. So you have access to them. So that's why it was important to bring CSR. But this project is totally private. I mean, the government has no hand in it. I mean, the government of Ghana has not even one person on it. I haven't spoken to the minister of president or the minister. No, I don't need that. What we want to do is support young people to shine, because they must be out there. They can shine. I mean, the only people, the only limiting factor is that they've not been given opportunity. And all the people in the world, from the Zuckerbergs to the Bill Gates and all those people, they had opportunity. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So
that's so
OpEx
true.
Prize was given. Yes. Yeah. And if I'm not going to wait for the government of Ghana to do anything for me, I mean, the government, I know they have their agenda. I have my agenda. If at some point the government there's some support available, fair enough. But this is a purely private initiative.
And that's great to hear, because I like the fact that you're also going with the CSR incubator that already has the resources, has both the human capital to help you prototype your idea, to give you advice, guidance, so it's great that you are also leveraging on available resources that are out there, available expertise. And like Mr. Thompson is saying, this is 100% private. He's doing it by himself with this agenda to create opportunity for all. So it's great to see that, we have Ghanaians taking on that mantle to really drive change. So now the next question is.
Yes. Regina, sorry, by the way, the CSR incubator, we're actually paying for it.
Okay.
It's not
free. They are paying for the CSR incubator. Yes, of course, yes.
Yeah, but of course, they have a lot of other resources that we're not paying for, because even the people that work for, all the people that are involved in the project planning and execution, they're from CSR.
Yes.
So but we're not paying for them. They are giving their time. So we've got to recognize that.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so now going on from this, how do you see more local funding and seed capital being made available for entrepreneurs?
Honestly, I don't know, but I know that success breeds success. So if we start, other people join, and when people see that you're doing well, other people want to be part of success. So for me, it's to join. If I could tell everybody now, if I could say, I wish I could say now that I have a plan for, how we're going to raise the next funds and then not that good, but I don't. But I know that if there's a good project out there, we'll get support for it. That's just important. And I know that this first iteration may not necessarily come out with anything, but as we keep going, something will come up. That's just the way it works.
Okay. That's a great idea. I mean, a great answer. I'm fingers crossed this first iteration will really bet some, great innovations. I'm a very positive. What is it?
I'm waiting for the day when I can stand on the world stage and say, this is from Ghana and I supported it. That's what I'm looking for.
Wow. That's great. That's great to hear. Yeah, that's really great to hear. So a segue into the first question that I asked, which is one of my final questions, and then I'll open the floor to our audience. How can private institutions, individuals contribute towards the OpEx Prize so that it's not a one-off event? You did mention that you'll be running it. So this is the first iteration and there'll be other prizes running, but how could private individuals and other institutions come and, support or be a part of, the prize and the fund?
Okay. So at the moment, it's really open. For example, I met you through a friend of mine, I said, look, I wanted females who are in the tech sector because I need to get people involved. That's why I met you, and you introduce me to other people. So I'm hoping that over time, more and more people will join. The only thing I'm going to make sure that I do is that I'm not going to let anybody frustrate the process. You know, as a private sector person, as an entrepreneur, I know timing is everything. I know execution is everything. So for me, I'm about execution. I've got to execute. But everybody can join. I mean, the more the merrier. You know, how much glory does one person want? If we are 100 people, it's fine. If we are 1,000 people, it's fine. If we are 2,000 people, it's fine. But everybody that counts must bring some value. That's the most important.
Okay, that's great. So now I'm going to open the floor to, you know, our participants. If you have any question, you can either raise your hand and then I'll call you. You can either type it in the chat box and I'll read it out. So if you have any questions, please, this is the time. I wanted to make it as interactive as possible so that you could ask any question that you have, anything that you heard so far. If there's any question that I didn't ask that you would like, you know, to get an answer to, please feel free to either raise your hand and I'll give you a call or to type it in the chat box. So while we are waiting for any questions, I also wanted to quickly mention that the deadline for the prize is today. So as you are watching this, after this video is recorded, today we're going to do a good big push to get anybody who's doing last minute. I know Ghanaians like to wait till the last minute, but I think, you know, this is very important. So it's good that you get your applications in. Go to opexprize.org and you'll see the apply button. It's really pretty simple to apply and put in your applications so that, you know, you can quickly make sure that you get it in before the deadline. Okay, so, so Mr. Thompson, I wanted to ask one last side question. You know, a lot of young people are worried about these things as a way of organizations stealing ideas. So I thought we should have a conversation around that. What is your answer to that question? Is the OpEx Prize a way for Dalex Finance to secretly steal tech ideas and use your heavy financial machinery to create?
I mean, it's a very good question, you know, because if I was in that position, I'll feel the same way. What we're going to do is that anybody who comes on board is going to sign an agreement. So with the agreement, which will clearly show what our responsibilities are, what the person's responsibilities are, what our rights are, and all other things, so that people feel confident that whatever they do is for them. That's what we do. And these are agreements that are going to be enforceable in courts. These are agreements that will encourage them to get their friends, their lawyers, their parents to read.
Okay. And so also, based on what you just said, I wanted to know, will the prize take a share in the businesses that are started from incubation? Will you take a share in the business?
Honestly, we haven't decided. I honestly have been thinking about it. We haven't had a decision. Because what is important is that with this project that we're doing, there are a lot of people who are providing support. And I always say that we need to align the interests. We haven't decided on that. Okay. Whatever is decided will be subject to negotiation between the prize and the entrepreneur. Okay. But we haven't decided that because you see, once you have people, for example, take you, Richard. I mean, there's a lot that you put in over the last few days, since the next couple of weeks. So how do I ensure that you have interest? You know, you are constantly engaged to push the price, to push the entrepreneurs, to wake up at 2 in the morning, support people. I mean, so I've got to align the interests. Maybe the interest may be some financial interest. Maybe the interest may be promote so kind of, I don't know. But I suspect that by the time we start the incubator, all that will be defined clearly.
Okay, so Joanne has her hand up. So Joanne, I'm going to ask you to unmute and then you can ask your question.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Joanna.
All right, thank you very much for the presentation. I joined in a bit late because I saw the message on the platform quite late, but I got a bit of a summary from it. My question mainly is, so first of all, my name is Joanna and I'm representing the Design Network. And I see a lot of investment going into the tech space, obviously because of the era that we are in, and a lot of the digital platforms playing a role in the current times. However, when we always talk about tech spaces, I don't see the correlation between tech and design, even though there's a lot that comes into play when it comes to interfaces. So the user experience, user interfaces, which is actually being on the back end involving designers. You talk a bit about prototyping, and that also comes down to product designs, right? And I'm just wondering, to what extent does this particular prize also involve designers? Because I'm very interested in having partnerships also on that front, but I'm not sure if this is only tech or you are also opening up to other areas that have tech elements associated with it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joanna. Okay, Mr. Thompson, did you answer that question?
Yes, okay. You got any good tech, any good person, any person who knows what they're doing, entrepreneur, you realize that the functionality is really at the back. Look and feel is critical. So anybody who's in the tech space who is working on the project, who by default should have a designer supporting them. So I suspect that if we have somebody who's doing a project and hasn't got a designer, we recommend a designer who make sure we get this. Yes. Having a good tech product functionally is one thing, but it must look and feel right. So designers always come into play. Designers always come to play. For all our products, unless it is the designer who comes up with the templates, comes up with the user interface, and will give to somebody to code. If you think about, say, a product like PayPal. PayPal was founded by Elon Musk. Elon Musk does not code. He doesn't code. So we've got to be careful about how we see the different ideas and the roles they play. Just because you can code doesn't mean you can be a good techpreneur. It doesn't mean that. So there may be somebody who has an idea and can get design, can put together a team which will help him execute the idea. Jack Ma, Alibaba, he doesn't code. It's not about knowing how to code. It's about ideas, about timing, it's about perspiration, 95% perspiration. It's about knowing, look and feel, it's about the research that you've done. That is what will make you successful. Knowing how to code will not make you successful.
Okay, thank you. Now we have, thank you so much, Mr. Thompson, for that. Joanna, I hope that has answered your question. So now we have Teresa who has her hands up, and then I'll read, the questions in the chat. So Teresa, please go ahead and ask your question.
All right, thank you, Joanna. Hello, Mr. Thompson.
Hello.
Good morning. Thank you for making the time for this. And it's really heartwarming to hear of successful Ghanaian businesses, not just being successful, but reaching down to pull others up like you're doing today. So thanks for that. I've got 3 questions. I'm not too clear on the criteria on your website. You indicate they should have an MVP ownership, but there seems to be some restriction to the area. You mentioned agri, finance, healthcare, and education on the website. I just wanted to clarify that is the case.
Okay, no, it's a slight error that we'll try to correct subsequently. It could be anything. Leisure, somebody may be working on a game. It could be anything. It could be when it's, that was the initial idea, but we subsequently expanded it. So we included leisure. So don't restrict yourself. Don't restrict yourself at all.
Okay, that's fantastic. It's good I asked. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and thank you for the question, because it's important that people know about that. Don't restrict yourself at all.
Okay.
I think that our challenge sometimes is that we are afraid to think outside the box. Yes, it could be anything. It could be a game. It could be something to help somebody do something on PSP. It could be something, anything by step.
Okay, all right. My second question. I'm curious why tech companies are not brick and mortar companies. I mean, the local system, even our internet connection and our infrastructure in Ghana is really poor. And how is the Ghanaian market set up to support tech?
First, you talk about brick and mortar. When I thought about helping young people to be able to realize their visions, I knew that at some point it would come down to support. And I realized that I just didn't have the resources. We didn't have the resources to support them if it was going to be brick and mortar. But what I was very sure about was that the mind is the same. There are young people all over the world creating beautiful things. So it would be easier for me to be able to put resources together that support people that were doing something that related to their mind. That is why we chose this direction. And that's why we don't have brick and mortar. Yes, that's what we chose. I mean, because if, for example, somebody said he wanted to build a bakery, really, how many bakeries can we support? But a lot of countries, a lot of people have made a lot of progress using tech, and the value that they've created has helped to support other brick and mortar businesses. And I felt that, if we could make breakthroughs in the tech environment, then the value that's created could support other areas. And also, we were more positioned for support in the tech area because I know people that are doing robotics in Ghana, and the same people are helping, say, NASA, or they're helping Amazon. So it's easy to get them to use their skills to support somebody to do something in the technology space than to ask them to give me $10,000, for example.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Yes. And also, if you ask me what resources are available to support tech in Ghana, I'll say there is some. It's not enough, but I'm going to start. I mean, there's some.
Yeah.
In my previous life, I used to work for, I managed a venture capital fund. And that venture capital fund invested in Biz Internet. I don't remember how many people of you remember Biz Internet.
Yeah, we remember Biz Internet.
It was the most, I thought that it was the business. I thought, wow, this is a fantastic thing. Everybody that came to Ghana went to see it. When I look at it now, I think, what a waste of time. But of course, but all those experiences you build on to become who you are, and I'm leveraging on all those experiences to move to the next step. If we wanted to do that, even if we had the opportunity to do brick and mortar now, how many business internets can we build? So that's the angle we're coming from. The environment is not perfect. It will never be perfect because there will always be something that I want to do, want to be able to do, which is not available. But we just got to keep going. And then also for people that consider themselves entrepreneurs, entrepreneurship involves sacrifice. You have to make sacrifices. It's not easy. So don't wait for perfect. Even if you're sitting in Los Angeles, it will never be perfect. There's a lot of sacrifice that you have to make. So it's a journey, and we just got to keep going.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I just got my last question. And just following on from a couple of points you made about not necessarily brick and mortar and being, not having a physical location. Does this OpEx Prize, is it extended to people who have businesses in Ghana but are not physically located in Ghana?
Okay. That's it. Honestly, I have to ask the team whether we can provide the same level of support. If we can, why not? If we can, why not? But those businesses should still apply. You see, in my mind, we set out to support local businesses. Of course, if there are Ghanaians outside, other people outside will go apply. And then we'll see whether we can support them through the process. Because apart from the reviewing stage, there's going to be judging. Then after judging, there's going to be training, there's going to be a project plan, there's going to be incubator, there's going to be mentorship. So if we're able to do all those things, if the person is not physically here, then they will do it. As of now, I don't know. I have to speak to the team.
Okay, thank you very much. That's it. And really appreciate your time, Mr. Thompson. And thanks, Regina.
Okay, thank you, Theresa. So, Mr. Thompson, now I'm going to ask the questions that are coming through from the chat. And so we have a question from Gloria, who says, please, must you have any legal business documents before you apply?
You don't have to. But one thing that you need is at least you need to be able to demonstrate ownership of the project. Those legal things can be done. I mean, if you have a Ghana card register, a company register, whatever it is, but you must show ownership of the document, and you must be able to show an understanding of the project. You must be able to show what your dream is, how you're doing about it. You must be able to show the work that you've done to bring the project where it is before you join the OpEx Prize. Those are the most important things. But having a legal document, that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
So.
Okay. The next question is from Eric from Pomasari. He asks, will the seed fund form part of the equity contribution, and what percentage will that constitute? I think you talked about it earlier, but I wanted to ask everybody's question.
Okay. So the money is supposed to be to support your business. We haven't taken any decisions as to equity yet, but I suppose over the next 2 weeks, we'll decide what should we do. And I've said that, the thing is to align interests. What I'm saying is that, and we're going to get all these people support. So if we want their continued support, maybe it's okay, give them 5%, whatever it is. But that figure has not been decided yet.
Okay. So Prosper asked, and I think, Prosper, your question isn't clear, but let me ask it and try and understand it. He asked, please, I want to ask businesses who want funding to pivot. Okay, so Prosper wants to find out, can businesses who want funding to pivot apply?
It depends how much funding they want. It depends on what stage of their business they are in. It depends on whether the business model has value. So it depends. It just depends. But you've got to remember that what the funding available now is 10,000. But you may need more. If you can, you pivot to, you're able to convince the judges, maybe an exception can be made for you.
Okay. Okay, Prosper. So I hope that answers your question. Next, we have a question from Lemuel Knox. He says, what is being done to protect the ideas should an idea win the prize?
So if your idea wins the prize, then of course you've got to get a patent. For example, yesterday somebody told me about some solar TV or something that they told me. I said, but which part of that project can you patent? You didn't produce the solar panels, you didn't produce the screen, you didn't produce any of the microchips, you didn't produce anything. So if there's something within the project that can be patented, it will be patented. And that's important. And that patent should protect that person, because we're going to take a worldwide patent on the aspect of the project.
Okay. So you've heard it all. The ideas will be patented depending. Okay, now the next question is from Eric Frimpon Asari. He asked, also, can one contribute to the fund, and what is the process? I know you touched on it earlier also, but since Eric has asked, I thought maybe you could also mention it again.
Yes, well, at the moment, we are inviting people to participate. But whoever wants to participate must bring value. That's the most important thing. And then once they provide the value, and then we'll see how it fits into the process. And we've got to make sure that the person's interest is aligned with us. That's the most important thing.
Okay. Okay. So then the next question that we have is from Ransford. He writes, I haven't received any mail from OpEx Prize since I signed up. And I haven't been added to any platform. Please advise. So I am thinking Ransford has applied for the prize and hasn't heard back, and he's anxious.
Okay, so what we'll do is that we'll be, hold on. I have a young man here with this gentleman called Ransford. He's applied, he's not heard anything. So let's make sure that everybody's applied. there's a welcome letter that was supposed to be sent to everybody. So maybe along the process, around for us, but we'll make sure it's rectified.
Okay, thank you for that. This question from Amazing says, I would like to know how best can this project be of help to young entrepreneurs who are strictly into products and services, which has nothing to do with tech application?
Well, it has to be tech. It has to be tech. I mean, whatever you're doing must be driven by tech. It would be nice to support everybody, but we can't. This one is just, it has to be technology. It has to be technology.
So yes, Mr. Thompson has said it all, it has to be tech. And like he said, this is the first iteration. So hopefully as things goes on and the prize expands, maybe it can expand into other areas. But for now, it has to be tech. And if you have any idea, it's very easy to add a tech component to it. So like he said, build upon ideas. That's one of the things he shared with us today. So if you have some idea, you don't, and like he said, you don't have to be the coder. Partner with somebody who has the tech expertise to help you, add tech to whatever idea that you have. So come in as a team. You don't have to do this alone. So now, a couple of few questions as we are rounding up. I have to be mindful of Mr. Thompson's time. I know he's very busy, and we're very fortunate that he could do this. Can two startups, so this is from Gloria, Mr. Thompson, can two startups with the same service or product come together to apply?
Yes, I will encourage people to work as a team. Teams are very important. Knowledge is not in one person's head. Work with a team, brainstorm. That is when you have a chance to succeed. I mean, today I'm talking to you about the OpEx Prize. I have a whole group of people that I work with to formulate the ideas. I have the vision, but without the support, I couldn't do much. So get people involved. 4 or 5 people, get people involved, brainstorm, create. Of course, there needs to be a leader, and then that's how you develop. But every so often, I meet young people who have an idea and they cherish it and they nurture it and they don't talk to anybody. And even if they are speaking to their neighbor, they realize that the idea doesn't make sense. And even if they are speaking to their mother or grandmother, they realize that no, the idea doesn't make sense. And they've been nurturing and nursing the idea for over 2 years. And rather, it would have been easier to talk to their grandmother, put the idea to bed, or talk to their friend, and keep creating, coming up with new ideas. You talk to your grandmother, realize no, the thing doesn't make sense. So use work in teams. And for me, I'm very excited about people who understand teamwork from the word go. Of course, nothing is perfect. So you start with one team. May not end up with the same team, but it's good to work with a team.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Yes, you don't nurture the idea. I think when I started, I was also nurturing some idea till I put it out there and realized it was a dead idea on arrival. So don't don't nurture ideas. Now, the question we have from Josephine here, so we just have a couple of minutes left. Is it possible to have an extend to extend the deadline since a lot of us are just learning of the initiative?
What I would say is that it's very easy to apply. Just go out and apply. At least put your name down. It's very, 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 very. The application is a 5-minute job. So just go and apply. We've thought about extending it, but then, when do we stop? When do we start? Yes. And then, like any great project, if you lose momentum, it will kill the project. Yeah. So we've got to maintain momentum. So we can't extend the deadline, but go and apply.
Yes.
It takes us 5 minutes to apply. 5 minutes, you've done it.
I can testify to what Mr. Thompson is saying. It's very easy to apply. It takes, a short, like 5 minutes to apply. And just like he's saying, for those that have applied, imagine that they have to keep waiting and waiting and waiting. There has to be a stop point. And so if you're just hearing of it now, please quickly go on and apply. It's a short period to apply. Now we have a question from Arthur Chester, who says, we have an e-commerce website on which we sell made in Ghana products. Can I apply?
Well, you can apply. There's nothing stopping you from applying. And if the reviewers and judges think that it's a great time, you go forward. But what I encourage people to do is that think big. We think Ghana, think big. It's a small world, think big. And one of the things that restrict our thinking is that we don't read, research, go see what other young people are doing. Think big, think, and create value. Think and create value. That's more important, But apply. The judges will decide whether or not you qualify and take it from there. If you are creating value, you are creating value. But think big. Think outside Ghana. Think big. What can I do to shop the market? What can I come up with? What can my team come up with? And so just be thinking about it. Just think big.
Okay, so I'll take just a couple more questions, then we wrap up. So this is from Lemuel Knox. He asks, is a sanitation idea that inculcates tech eligible for the prize?
It's a what?
A sanitation idea that inculcates tech eligible for the prize.
Yes, of course, it's eligible for the prize. As long as it's tech, it's eligible for the prize. It's eligible for the prize. Just an advice. Somebody said something about dropping an app which allows you for the people that collect the rubbish to know whether your rubbish is full so they can collect. I'm saying that it's just scalable. Have you thought through it? So think through it. Any tech idea, it's a good idea. Just think through it. And don't be afraid of your ideas being shut down. Be shut down, just build an idea, just keep going. That's the most important thing.
Okay. Now, last question, because like I said, I have to be very mindful of Mr. Thompson's time. It's actually from Ransford, Mr. Thompson. He says he doesn't mind equity investment. So he doesn't mind. So if you select his idea, he doesn't mind an equity investment.
Yes. Okay. But Ransford, you see, our primary objective is to help you succeed. And if that's what it requires, it's not a problem at all. But to help you succeed. It's to help you succeed. And you got to think about, where you are creating value. You got to think of whether it can scale. And you got to say, okay, I tried this one, it didn't stop, it didn't work. Okay, let's move on. And the reason I show, I asked you to show the video about Estonia is because we all learn from each other. For me, every day I learn. I think I'm the world's biggest plagiarist. I'm always learning. So you've got to go to the Estonia website, start researching Estonia, what makes them successful? And we'll copy it. What makes them successful? And I can assure you, there are people that are generating tons of ideas every day. And 99% of them get shut down. For every 3,000 ideas you get, only one probably has a chance of success. And even that one, there's a 99% chance that it will fail. The thing is just keep going. And that's how to create success.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Thompson. And I want to say thank you to everybody who joined the call today. It's been recorded. So after we will share the recording, if maybe you joined later, you missed it, or you want to share it with others, the recording will be available on different platforms for you to watch. We had a good turnout, and I want to thank everybody for coming in to participate. Please apply. If you know somebody who has a great tech idea, or you want to partner, or you want to come together, please share it and get others to apply. It's really great to see what Mr. Thompson is doing with the OpEx Prize. We are very happy to see such initiatives coming out, and we're very happy to see what the results will be. I'm going to read a lot about Estonia. Now Estonia is on my reading list. Yes, so I also shared the video. So please also read on Estonia. Like Mr. Estonia said, Mr. Thompson said, keep researching, keep reading, keep growing, keep developing. And if you need any help or support, just reach out. The deadline is today. So you just have a few more hours till the deadline ends. But like Mr. Thompson has said, it's a 5-minute process. It's very, very simple to apply. So quickly go there. Your idea doesn't have to be so perfect, but once you've captured the frame and you can clearly articulate and put out, what the idea is, please go ahead and apply. And then you'll see what will happen. So Mr. Thompson, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you with this info session. And I think everybody has learned so much. So do you have any last parting words for the audience?
I'd like to say, Bujana, well done with Sonko Academy. I met you a couple of weeks ago, and I was blown away by the things that you were doing. I'm thinking, wow, there are people out there trying to change the status quo, and well done. For the young people out there, look, you are the future. This year I'm going to be 60. I'm finished. And you guys are the future. Oh no, I'm finished. My life is over. No. My life is over. Oh no, my life is over. But you are the future. But you've got to push yourself. You've got to push yourself. You've got to read. You've got to research. You've got to challenge yourself. You've got to make mistakes. And remember that you are just as good as anybody anywhere in the world. Anybody anywhere in the world who will succeed is reading, is researching, is failing, is making mistakes, is waking up at 3 in the morning. And so nothing makes you special. The only thing that makes you special is that you can be as good as anybody anywhere in the world if you are prepared to apply yourself. So apply yourself and learn to fly. Just learn to fly. And I'm hoping that this process will be beginning of helping people to fly, because the people have help and they learn to fly. But don't take help for granted. You've got to go out and look for it. You've got to push. And even if you do not succeed being selected for the OpEx Prize, doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean you will not succeed. Failure is good. They keep saying that unless you have failed, you can never be a leader. So start learning to fail when you're young. So thank you very much. Let's work together, change the world. And I hope that all of you will put something in. It's a very easy process. And then have a good day. Let's keep going.
Thank you. And one last thing, somebody wanted to ask how they could get in touch with you. Is there any way if somebody wanted to get in touch and commend you on a great presentation?
Dalex has 95 offices nationwide. Hey. My phone number is in every office.
Wow.
If you go on our website, I have one phone. It's my one phone. And wow. I have one phone. My number is everywhere. My email address. So they should go on my website. My number is there. My email address. Just call me. My phone number is in all our offices. So
Mr. Thompson is accessible. His phone number is in all his offices. You can reach him, and he showed you his one phone number. That is really great. But one last one. Ransford's hand is up, and since Ransford has been so engaged, I think I should let him talk. So Ransford, I'm going to let you. Yes, I'm just going to let you ask your question or give your comment. Okay, Ransford, are you there? Okay. Maybe he put up his hand earlier on, then typed out his questions. Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Thompson. We really, really appreciate this. And I wish you a great day. And we'll be sharing all the recordings. And we look forward to what happens with the OpEx Prize. I think this will be a great showpiece of what happens when there's private investment into the tech sector. And being, bigger than even Estonia. So thank you so much for sowing the seed, and for supporting. We really, really need this because we don't have a lot of these initiatives and investments. And it's great to see when such things come together. Thank you all. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll be sharing the recording. And remember, www.opexprize.org. I've typed it in. Please go apply, share, tell everybody to apply. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye. Nice day. Bye-bye.